It is one of Britain's most cherished motoring marques.
Heads turn when we see a Bentley, and if you actually look inside the car, you help go, wow, you know.
A brand known for handcrafting, excellence and luxury.
Putting dreams on driveways.
For nearly a century, Bentley has artfully manufactured extremely distinguished saloons.
It's all handcrafted, everything's handmade.
But now, high-end tastes are rapidly morphing and the company must adapt.
We are in a world now where SUVs are replacing sedans. It's what everyone buys.
Bentley's response is both extreme and galvanizing. The first true ultra-luxe SUV.
This is uncharted territory for them. No one's ever built a luxury SUV this expensive.
An unexplored terrain dubbed the Bentayga. A plush, high-performance SUV and the most unlikely Bentley ever built. Welcome to Crewe, a hard-working English town that's home to a British icon.
Bentley is Crewe. It's like a prestige company, and working for Bentley has been amazing.
For nearly 100 years, this famed marque has been known for just one thing: opulent handcraftsmanship.
Bentley's very unique. We pride ourselves on our craftsmanship.
You've got to have lots of pride to work here. Whatever you make has got to be perfect.
The level of self-satisfaction that you get from producing the car is unique. When you see one on the road, you think, wow, I built that car.
The pride is only exceeded by the passion for the crown.
Made in Britain, not many people can put that stamp on their product.
It's been British since the old days, the racing days. It's just a British brand.
The core elements that make a Bentley, the time and effort we put into the trim, making sure that the interior leather components are all to the highest standards. The woods, I mean, no two cars are the same, which also, in my opinion, makes it very British.
Today, the company employs over 4,000 artisanal craftspeople.
It's a major employer in the region, not only in Crewe, but in Cheshire as well. It's a massive employer.
If it wasn't for Bentley, then there'd be very little in the area in terms of work. A lot of companies have diminished or moved away.
Men and women who come to work each and every day in the most northerly located car factory of the surviving British brands.
When you consider the history of the UK, the north has always been the part of the country that's always got its hands dirty.
You feel like there's a sense of pride to it, the name and everything else, and then the brand.
Everyone that works here has got an enormous amount of pride in what they do.
In a land rich with history, it's also a factory that's flush with family.
People have worked at Bentley for a long time. Everybody always knows somebody who's worked at Bentley before.
We have 3 generations of workers here. You know, we've got grandfathers, fathers and sons all working in the same area of the business.
I tend to chat to my father-in-law about things, and he knows what I'm talking about because he used to work here himself, the same with my husband. Lots of my uncles have worked here. So yes, it's very much a family affair.
Some family is based on blood, but another is born right on the line.
Working here 40 hours a week, I probably see these guys a lot more than I see my own family. Because when I go home, I just go home to sleep, don't I? Recharge the batteries and come back in the following day.
The bonds are strong, and the pressure to keep a secret is even greater.
All my friends are asking what's coming up next. You have to be careful what you say because obviously there's a lot of top secret information that we get told.
Lately, that classified info concerns the most radical departure in the brand's history.
But we recognise that the customer's changing. Well, customers aren't just the guys who want to be driven around. They are modern families, they are young families as well. So we had to develop a model that was going to appeal to the mass market as well.
To answer a shifting marketplace, the brand starts thinking about a new model.
We had the first ideas around 5 years ago.
what can be an additional possibility for Bentley. Then you suddenly came to an SUV. Of course, the SUV is really popular. Therefore, we know we have competition.
The team takes the machine to a variety of harsh environments to test its mettle.
You see my smile in the face. I think this is always something where we as engineers have a great privilege, because we are the first to design the car, to make the concept of the car, but we are then also the first to drive this car.
In 2015, the Marque introduces the machine at the Frankfurt Auto Show.
Bentayga is the most powerful, the most luxurious, and the most exclusive SUV in the world.
The vehicle is unlike any Bentley ever built because it's not a saloon, but rather an SUV. Historically, sport utility vehicles were utilitarian machines intended to work far more than play.
I'm not sure automakers really knew what to do with the SUV. They were utilitarian at first. Getting 4 doors was a big deal. Suddenly people started buying these as family vehicles. They were seen as being more practical than cars.
What was once practical suddenly turns posh.
I think we have to throw all that out. I think we have to forget that the SUV was once about a rugged thing that went through ruts in a farm field and realize that the SUV is just a replacement for the sedan.
Changing customer tastes hit Bentley particularly hard. The brand's hallmark is building luxury saloons.
Most of this company's history has been about very large, very imposing sedans. At no point do I imagine that someone in Bentley said, the perfect next step for the brand from a marketing perspective is an SUV. This was a business decision where they said, there's this gaping hole at around the $250,000 mark where people are buying other cars, but there are no SUVs in there.
The goal of the Bentayga is to double the company's sales volume while still keeping its rarity intact.
Exclusivity is sort of a double-edged sword. If you don't sell a lot of cars, you're not going to survive. If you sell too many, suddenly you're not the luxury brand you thought you were. And there's some of that in the Bentley SUV.
Purists call the machine unforgivable sacrilege. But the Bentayga sells out before even a single machine is built.
Yeah, there was some raised eyebrows, I'm sure.
It's a total different departure for Bentley as a whole. It's the first SUV that we've ever done.
The radical change requires a massive €840 million investment in the Crewe factory.
Obviously, that's huge investment, and for the workforce, this really is all about security of the future.
If you'd have asked me 2 years ago, could I have imagined the change that I'm seeing here today, I would have said no, absolutely not.
We've got to have British manufacturing. We've got to keep something alive in Britain. We don't want to rely on other countries doing it. We want something prestigious that's here, made in Britain.
An emboldened future that's built with very artisanal hands and an extremely old-world approach. Something that Bentley's been doing for a very, very long time.